Young men are massively disenfranchised everywhere. They're disenfranchised in media representation. They're disenfranchised in hiring practices. They're disenfranchised in education preferences. They're disenfranchised in opportunities such as scholarships and other types of internships. They're disenfranchised in the fact that they have to register for the draft and women don't have to register for the draft. They're disenfranchised in terms of child custody. They're disenfranchised in terms of sentencing in courts. Like, these are all verifiable, quantifiable, like 100%. Like, not only is it men, but white men, it's like a multiplier where they're even more disenfranchised. And the more that you tell white guys for noticing that they're Nazis, be very careful, because they might start agreeing with you.
Let's go stop there. We'll continue. First, I want to ask the audience, chat. Hey there, Phoenix. Good to see you. Sorry about that. Hitting the wrong thing. Do y'all feel disenfranchised? Have you ever felt disenfranchised? I know that our audience is the vast majority men, vast majority of normal men in our audience. So first question to you, chat. Then Phoenix, Rev, have you guys ever felt disenfranchised the last few years?
My whole life has been fucking black-pilled. But the difference between me and everybody else, my God, I can depress everyone here. But the difference is that never has stopped me from trying, right? So I just go, okay, well, the house is on fire. And I'll go like, well, I guess I'll just burn to death. It's like, no, it means you keep fighting. You keep trying to put the fire out as best you can. You keep trying to get friends to join you and grabbing some water and putting it out as best you possibly can. And then you hope that when the house is completely crumbled, that you can build something better and stronger in the future, that you've learned from the mistakes that you've made, and you fortify that way that never happens again. So yes, I'm extremely black-pilled for pretty much from the day I woke up, but don't stop fighting, and I try my best to inspire others where I can, especially with a microphone on a platform, to try and provide solutions of, hey, here's a place where we can gather and try to make a difference. And I think that's also what Craig and this show does as well. It kind of puts everything out there and goes like, doesn't this suck? But maybe we can find a solution, you know.
Rev, what about you?
Yeah, I believe that's what they call white pilling. He's on the other side at this point. He's trying to find the positives here and keep fighting. But yeah, that's kind of like the whole point. Like, you can't give up on these things. You got to keep talking about it, even if it seems like it's so overwhelming, the amount of vitriol people have for you because you're a man or you're white or whatever. And just taking a look around in like familiar spaces like the gaming industry, like, yeah, of course, a white male gamer is disenfranchised in many different ways, like at least in terms of how they're viewed by developers, community managers, what have you, who tell them like literally, you're not welcome here. We don't want you as a customer. We don't want you in the spaces. Like, no, nobody's losing their sacred rights or anything like that. But it's still, yeah, you are being targeted just because of how you were born and things you didn't choose. And the more people wake up to that, the better. And to just kind of roll over and let it happen. You know, we're talking about what Asmongold said. It's not just women writing the social rules and all those things. I think it's a lot of men who are being led into believing this is the right thing to do and that somehow it's going to serve their own interest when they're literally like cannibalizing themselves.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have an example for that here in just a minute. I will show you a weak man who is literally scared of his own family. We'll get to that in a second. Let's continue here with his thoughts.
And I think that's where we're headed. I think it's already happening pretty fast in Europe. And at the end of the day, these people will only have themselves to blame, because they've radicalized an entire generation of young men by creating an entire culture and society that hates them and that tries everything that it possibly can to demonize, keep them down, delegitimize, infantilize, patronize, and just basically punish these young men for nothing. Punish them for something that they didn't even do. Toxic empathy? Yeah. Like you saying you were racist before it was cool. I don't know. Yeah, I guess that was more a meme, but yeah. And I'm 50% of the way there already. Just keep saying it and fuck it. Yeah, I think that's where things are headed. And it's very disappointing for me to see this because like I don't want to have that happen. I don't know why we need to have these extremes. But these people that, you know, again, like we live in a society that's
By the way, everything that he's saying here is not extreme at all. He's like, I don't want to live in these extremes, but he's just laying out exactly the steps of all this, right? If you are constantly villainizing people, guess what? At some point, they're going to go, "Yeah, I'm the villain." You know, I guess I am the bad guy, and if you want me to be the bad guy, I will play the bad guy role. You know, and you continue to push and push and drip and drip and drip and drip and drip. That leads to the polarization of society, which is what we see right here. And they call Asmongold extremely, like they say, like that statement there. He's like, I don't want any of this stuff. Who does? Well, I know there are people who do, right? But this is what it leads to here.
But look at the like the tweet he's responding to here.
Yeah.
Like it's just Erica Kirk basically saying that don't let them disenfranchise you because of the way you were born. And that's being called literal Nazi rhetoric.
Yeah.
We have literally it's the horseshoe.
Yes. 100%. Yes. Women. Ladies, I'm going to come to you in just a second. I nearly said women's. Women's, I'm going to come to you in just a second to get your thoughts on this as well, to feel like if this is an overreaction or if you see this on your side of it. But let's go continue with Asmongold.
Being defined by women who hate their husbands and girls who hate their dads. And they're the ones that are writing the rules for society. And guess what? They're not very friendly to men. Bring back the patriarchy. I like the sound of that. That's a good idea. And the Joker, short young men are literally the most oppressed demographic in the world. Yeah, and they get laughed at for it too. They do. It's so patronizing and awful. So I feel like this is what's happening. I wanted to talk about this because I think that a lot of people need to realize, I don't think that they understand how extreme and how bad this really is. So yeah, we just want to be left alone and play video games. Yeah. All of this could have been avoided. All you had to do was not get into video games. But you couldn't do that. You couldn't do that. You couldn't stop yourself. You had to get into the video games.
Kind of funny how it always comes back to games. All right, ladies, I want to get your thoughts on this as you've heard all that. Do you feel, have y'all seen this radicalization of men, and do you feel that that this is weak men who are driven by overbearing women? Or I don't know, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but would love to hear your thoughts on this.
Go ahead, Flabs.
Oh, I was waiting for you. Okay, so there's a couple things here. When he says that, like, men are disenfranchised, I can't answer that. I'm not a guy, right? I haven't had your experiences, so I'm not going to be like, no, you haven't, because, hello, woman. But I would also argue that women are also disenfranchised with society today, too, because the roles have kind of been reversed, right? You have the big, strong girl boss who's, like, super masculine, and she can do everything. And sure, there are the exception, right? Like Gina Carano and all those other girls. But, like, the main exception is that the guys are always going to be stronger, right? So the roles have been reversed. So society is broken because the roles have been reversed. So I'm going to argue for that. And I'm not going to say guys haven't been disenfranchised because I can't say that. But I do see that, like, because of society saying, oh, no, men should be weak and blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, it has created weak men because it's not the saying, like, strong men create good times and weak men create bad times. Well, we're kind of in the shitter right now. So that's my 2 cents.
Strob?
I feel like as someone who, like, you know, I'm married to a man. I'm a big sister and the only sister to 2 little brothers. I feel like I've always, like, I don't know, I care about guys. Like, I mean, I think you don't need to necessarily be in those positions to care, but, like, I don't know, I've always had men in my life that I care a lot about, and obviously it makes me sad to see things like this. I don't think we should treat anyone in a way that tells them they're lesser because of how they were born or things like that. Like, I think everyone deserves to be treated with, like, love and respect. I don't know. I see people, like, I saw someone actually in the chat of the podcast earlier saying, you know, they don't even want to try and get married because of, like, the way things are with women nowadays and all this stuff. But I kind of would take it back to what Phoenix said. Like, you shouldn't let the bad things keep you from trying to pursue, like, the good in the world. Like, I don't know, I understand people being like, I'm afraid to date, I'm afraid to, you know, get married and have children with someone because, like, what if something bad happens? But truthfully, and I can say this as someone who like does believe in God, like and I feel like that's why I have so much comfort in my relationship with God though, because I truly trust like he is in control of everything. So like there's no reason for me to just be afraid of something and not try, because I'm like, whatever's supposed to happen is going to happen. And I don't think it's worth missing out on potential good things that he has in store for our lives, whether or not you believe in God. But like the good things that you could have in store for your life because you're afraid of bad outcomes, because ultimately you're just giving all these people what they want. You're denying yourself of, you could be happy. Like you could find someone who loves you and you could have a really happy relationship. Those do exist. And honestly, by you not even trying, you're almost like just giving them what they want by being like, you know what, I'm giving up. I'm going to be alone forever. I'm going to be miserable. And you could apply that to like any other thing. And then the draft is so separate. Like I was talking to Reb about this the other night. I was like, maybe it's a hot take, but I think nobody should be drafted. I don't know if I even agree with the draft existing. At the very least, possibly if it's like something happening like in the United States, like a major attack, maybe, but like I don't know. But obviously I don't want to be drafted. I'm a weak woman. I can't do that. I'd have a mental breakdown out there. But I don't think that, you know, I don't know, the concept of like any man getting drafted either. I mean, I don't love that, especially kind of like what Blab said. Like, I can't lie, I think men are different nowadays than they were like historically in the past. Not that any 18-year-old guy is necessarily probably in the best place to go to war randomly when he doesn't want to, but I just can't imagine that. But yeah, that's my ramble.
Hotter take, the only way you can vote is if you sign up for the draft.
What about?
I do see that. I do see that as an argument, and it is an argument to be made.
There's also
pretty much everything.
Right. There's also the argument that you can't vote unless you pay taxes.
Yep.
You know.
Let's do both of those.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's. I want to point about someone who's been broken. We have one example of this. This is courtesy of the Bill Maher podcast over here. He had an actor named Jerry O'Connell on his show. Are y'all familiar with Jerry O'Connell at all?
Yes, and I know the clip too. This is great.
Mm-hmm.
This is spectacular. Blabs, you ever seen Jerry O'Connell? I'm sure you've seen him in some of his work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's known for Stand By Me. He was in Jerry Maguire, Sliders, Scream 2. Okay?
Oh my God, Kangaroo Jack! That takes me back.
The only audience member who saw Kangaroo Jack.
You're it. That's it. Blabs did it. So here we go. This is him on the Bill Maher podcast. And what you are about to see is a broken man who I think Asmongold is describing here.
I'm going to tell you about a bit of, I say this, will I stay married? Blow it over here.
Just that statement alone is like, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm going to anyways.
My,
Sounds like you're going to blow it over here.
the night of the election, this third one,
Yeah.
third election. Everyone knows what I'm talking about here. I was watching late at night the returns, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't think Trump was going to win. I live in California. I didn't think he was going to win. From what I was hearing,
I didn't either.
I think he was going to win.
No,
This is where I live, you know?
I'm in a bubble. I don't see anything outside. Why would I think that I got a bubble around me? I thought he was going to lose, but whatever, because I was fed all the stuff.
Tell me you're inside a bubble without saying you're inside a bubble.
Right.
I said something along the lines of like, there was no planning. This is what they get. There should have been a primary. I said something along those lines, like I was just spitballing ideas as to, it was a shock, My wife and daughters, without saying anything, became physical with me. They were filled with rage. So if I am being careful with you in how I say things, yes, I live in California. I live with not one, not two, but three people who
are mentally insane. You can say
what a perfect example, right? Like, he looks like he's trying to, like, he's talking that there's a hostage with a gun pointed to his head, and he's trying to say what he wants to say, but he can't. Like, there's the left right there. That's your party. That the gun to your head, you better say the thing, and if not, pull the trigger. It's like, look, what a perfect example of that.
Well, and the idea that all he did was say, well, we should have had a primary. Oh, this is what we get, and they get violent with
like
him?
a plague. Yes, like a violent zombie horde.
Well, just imagine if this was reversed and it was a wife up here talking about how her boys and her husband got physical because she voted for Harris, or was having some sort of an opinion about the election that they didn't like. Like, it's insane. It would be outrage. This guy just came up here and said, I just got abused by my wife and children. I got physically attacked. And everyone's like, whatever. Anyway.
Right.
Yeah, well, it goes back to the other day on my stream, actually. I was looking at this video about how we have normalized abuse towards men, and there was this one guy that came out, and he was saying in this interview with another guy, yeah, I've had women put their hands on me, hit me, and the guy was just laugh. He was but that's not the same. He was that's not abuse, blah blah. And the guy's sitting there, and you can see it in his eyes. He's why is this guy telling me I didn't go through something that I clearly went through? But it's it's become so normalized, and people act like it doesn't, oh, it's fine to just do and say and even hit physically men, but you can't touch a woman, which of course I don't think you should hit anybody, but at the same time it's just crazy that it's totally acceptable when it's a man.
Well, this is what you get in this situation. You see him right here, who's terrified to talk about it. My wife, my daughters are they got physical with me, right? I wanted to replay this statement here.
Yes, I live in California. I live with not one, not two, but three people who, if I made any kind of joke, they would they become very angry with me.
Well,
So
I don't want to tell you how to live your life, but I couldn't live that way. I would, whatever household or whatever situation I'm in, I say what I truly think. And if it makes you angry, I'm sorry. We'll have to work that out.
Well, it makes.
But I am not going to tuck my tail between my legs and just shut the fuck up. This is what you were dealing with when you were a child. Just sit there and don't say anything.
Yeah, but-
Sit on your hands. Well, what happened to Rob Reiner? More of that, Jerry. More of that.
Yeah.
Where's Rob Reiner's ghost when you need him to be telling you more of that?
Yeah.
How sad. I just look at that. I'm like, man, how sad. He doesn't realize he's in an abusive relationship, an emotional, physical, literally physical and emotional relationship. He's scared. Rev, you said it. Flip it. Flip that relationship, and it would be outrage. Unbelievable. And
I just see a really pathetic man. That's kind of what I see. A real big pussy. That's kind of what I see. In 1950s, Dad, that wife her head would be particles against the fucking wall. It's just these are weak men. I'm certainly not saying physical abuse. I'm saying men have lost any form of testosterone where you don't need to do physical abuse. You're the man of the house. Why would you even accept that even for a second? There would be a look that would shock the living shit out of her, and she would be trembling in the corner if you gave that look of, you better stop now. This is all just pathetic to me. This is why everything's falling apart, because I'm so scared of my family, instead of laying down any kind of law and instilling some kind of, where's the father instilling some values in these women, just as women instill values in their children. But I'm not ever seeing it from the men. They're not giving anything. They're background props that don't do anything. They just cater to the woman and go, yes, okay. That's what they keep doing. And you see this with everything in politics. They don't do anything. What did Asmongold say? We just want to be, one of the people said, I just want to be left alone and play video games. Great. Well, how's society working out for you? What, you just wanting to play video games? Start getting out there. Be a man. Do something. For fuck's sake. I'm the art togaff here. Why am I the only man? This is ridiculous, guys.
Right. Well, I think that people should take this more seriously, 100%. When it comes to, look, that is 100% an abusive relationship, and people are going to laugh about it, and we're going, oh, he's such a beta, right? But you legit question. You wonder if he's going to be married after this goes viral. If the wife is going to say, "Well, you abused me by going on that podcast and talking about this, exposing what I've done to you," like he's going to be in trouble because of that. And that clip has millions of views right now on X already. And she is not going to be happy about that, nor will his daughters. And he's going to go further into the doghouse here. And
how much you want to bet he apologizes?
Comes out publicly and apologizes?
It wouldn't shock me. I wouldn't bet it, but it wouldn't shock me if he came in like apologize, like, I over-exaggerated. They weren't physical with me, but it wouldn't shock me at all.
So actually, I just went to his Instagram for funsies. His latest post is actually sharing that clip, and he's got no other statement.
There's a divorce coming.
Wow.
Yeah, his profile photo is actually his kids. I'll just pull this up for you guys so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Here he is. That's his kids.
Why would you ever like say it's physical if it's not physical? Like there's just no coming back from that. I feel like.
I think it was a broken man making a legitimate cry for help, because that's all he can do at this point, because he's so down in the dumps, so in the doghouse. He doesn't feel like he could ever actually stand up for himself. Like he doesn't know how at this point, I guess. So he comes on and just almost like says it in passing, hoping someone's going to pick it up.
Trying to make it like it's a joke or something, because people will do that with like trauma and things they have. They'll turn it into jokes to try and make the delivery, I guess, better. But it's like, I don't know. It's bad.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry,
Phoenix.
Greg. Continue. No.
Phoenix, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, I'm seeing like a lot of responses that say, like, well, what's the guy supposed to do? Like the decks are stacked against you, like the courts and everything on the side on the woman, all this other stuff. And I never understand those responses, with all due respect to you all out there. I don't understand. So then just, I don't know, lay down and die. I don't know what your plan. It's like, well, it's against me. So, okay, so do nothing. Is that what men did? Remember when we used to run towards the gunfire in a war? Remember like when there was actual bullets coming here and you said, you know what? I have to run up that hill and I'm going to do that. You know most likely you're going to get hit, but you do that because you believe in a cause for something. You actually believe in fucking something. Guys, start believing in something. If you want something back, you want this power back, you want the society back to normal, we're the guys that got to do it. And sitting there complaining, saying, oh, it's so unfair. What happened to men? Grow a fucking pair. Jesus Christ. Thank you.
Well, I think that's fair. I think a lot of people feel trapped. They're in a relationship, they have wife, they have kids and stuff like that. I think
doing nothing will not solve that.
I agree. At a certain point, change has to be made, because he's not living life right now. He's being led around. He's on a collar. He's on a leash. And you see it in his face. He looks beaten. And are you truly living in that situation where you are scared to have not even a statement about it, where you just say, well, they probably should have had a primary, and you're going to get beat up by your daughters and your wife because of that?
And that's not something that just happened on a random Thursday night or something. That's something that's brewed for years and years years. And he's been sitting there idly by, letting it get worse and worse, to the point where he has to go on national television, separated away from them, to even feel comfortable enough to say something about it.